This hospital was abandoned years. I've seen shadows moving through empty windows. Others believe the mansion hides a connection to a nearby abandoned hospital and a series of unexplained disappearances. The mansion was built more than a century ago. Once considered a symbol of wealth and prestige, it eventually fell into ruin. Over time, nature reclaimed the property. Yet the stories surrounding the mansion never disappeared. Local residents began reporting unusual events. Light through the hallways. Witnesses described hearing footsteps despite the building being completely abandoned. Several miles away stood an old hospital. The facility closed under mysterious circumstances. Records from its final years are incomplete. Rumors suggest patients disappeared without explanation. Then came the disappearance that changed everything. A local explorer entered the mansion searching for evidence. According to friends, he never returned. His vehicle was later discovered abandoned near the forest. Authorities launched an investigation. Search teams examined the mansion and surrounding woods. Despite extensive efforts, no trace of the missing explorer was found. The mystery only deepened. As years passed, a disturbing legend began to spread. People claimed a shadowy figure wandered between the hospital and the mansion. Witness descriptions were remarkably similar, yet nobody could identify who or what it was. Visitors reported seeing movement in empty hallways. Security cameras occasionally captured unexplained shapes. Some recordings appeared to show figures standing where nobody should have been. Skeptics dismissed the evidence as technical errors. Modern investigators attempted to uncover the truth. Armed with cameras and flashlights, they entered the abandoned structures. Most found nothing unusual, but a few reported experiences they could not explain. During one investigation, explorers discovered what appeared to be a hidden room. Inside were damaged documents and forgotten photographs. Many records were unreadable. The remaining information raised more questions than answers. Some believe the mystery is rooted in historical events. Others suggest the stories grew through decades of rumor and fear. Paranormal investigators argue that something unusual still lingers there. No theory has been universally accepted. Even today, the mansion remains abandoned. The hospital continues to decay, and the disappearance remains unsolved. Perhaps the truth was lost long ago, or perhaps it is still hidden somewhere within the shadows. Until new evidence emerges, the mystery remains unsolved. What do you think happened? Let us know your theory in the comments. And remember, some places are forgotten for a reason. Hidden deep within a forgotten forest stands a mansion that has remained abandoned for decades. Time has slowly consumed its walls, its halls, and its history. During the day, it appears to be nothing more than a decaying structure. But when darkness falls, the atmosphere changes completely. Local residents claim that strange lights sometimes appear behind shattered windows. Others report hearing footsteps echoing through empty hallways where nobody should be present. While many dismiss these stories as imagination, the number of witnesses has only grown over the years. Whatever happened inside this mansion, its secrets have never truly been forgotten. Several miles from the mansion stands an abandoned hospital surrounded by rumors and unanswered questions. Official reports suggest went missing, and staff members refuse to discuss certain areas of the building. Today, the hospital remains silent and empty. Rusted equipment sits untouched, and dark corridors stretch endlessly into the shadows. Yet many visitors still describe an overwhelming sense that they are not alone.
The mystery took a darker turn when an experienced urban explorer decided to investigate the mansion for himself. Armed with cameras, flashlights, and years of experience, he entered the property expecting nothing more than another abandoned building. Friends later reported receiving several messages from him throughout the evening. Then, without warning, all communication stopped. Search teams spent days examining the forest, the mansion, and nearby structures. Despite their efforts, they found almost nothing. No clear evidence, no explanation, and no trace of the explorer himself. To this day, his disappearance remains one of the most unsettling chapters of the mystery. Over time, stories about a mysterious shadow figure began spreading throughout the region. Witnesses from different backgrounds described nearly identical encounters. They reported seeing a tall, dark silhouette standing motionless near the mansion, the hospital, or deep within the surrounding forest. In most cases, the figure would simply watch from a distance before disappearing into the darkness. Skeptics argue that these sightings are the result of fear, poor visibility, or coincidence. However, believers point to the remarkable similarities between witness accounts. Whether real or imagined, the legend continues to grow with each passing year. Narration 5, Final Conclusion. After decades of rumors, investigations, and speculation, the truth remains frustratingly out of reach. The mansion still stands in silence. The abandoned hospital continues to decay. The disappearance remains unsolved. Every theory seems to answer one question while creating several more. Perhaps the events surrounding these locations have a perfectly logical explanation that has simply been lost to history. Or perhaps something far stranger occurred. Until new evidence emerges, the mystery will remain exactly where it has always been. In the shadows, waiting for someone brave enough, as the sun disappeared behind the trees, the investigation entered its most dangerous phase. Darkness slowly consumed the forest, and the abandoned mansion became little more than a silhouette against the night sky. Armed with flashlights and cameras, the team stepped inside. Every sound seemed amplified. The creaking of old wood echoed through the corridors, while distant noises appeared to come from rooms that had been empty for decades. At first, nothing unusual happened. But as the hours passed, several investigators reported the same unsettling feeling, that something, somewhere within the building, was aware of their presence. Whether it was fear, imagination, or something far more mysterious remains impossible to determine. Every abandoned place has a story, but some stories seem determined to remain hidden. Historical records suggest that the mansion once hosted lavish gatherings attended by influential figures from across the region. Yet after a series of unexplained events, references to the property began disappearing from official documents. Newspaper archives provide only fragments of information. Local residents rarely speak about the mansion's history, and those who do often contradict one another. The result is a puzzle filled with missing pieces. With every new discovery, investigators find themselves facing even more unanswered questions. The deeper they dig into the past, the more mysterious the story becomes. Over the years, numerous photographs and recordings have emerged from visitors who explored the property. Most can be explained through lighting conditions, camera errors, or simple misunderstandings. Yet a small number of cases continue to attract attention. Some images appear to show figures standing in empty windows. Others contain shadows that seem out of place. Audio recordings occasionally capture sounds that investigators struggle to identify. None of this evidence proves anything supernatural. However, it has been enough to keep the mystery alive. For believers, these recordings suggest that something unusual may still linger within the abandoned walls. For skeptics, they are simply examples of how easily the human mind can be deceived. Despite decades of investigation, the mystery remains as compelling today as it was when the first stories began to circulate. New explorers continue to visit the mansion, hoping to uncover evidence that previous investigators may have missed. Some leave disappointed, finding nothing more than an old abandoned structure. Others return with stories that are difficult to explain. Each account adds another layer to the legend. Whether the truth involves forgotten history, human error, or something beyond ordinary understanding, one fact remains certain. The mystery has endured for generations, and until definitive answers are found, it will continue to fascinate anyone drawn toward the unknown. One of the most intriguing accounts came from a local resident who claimed to have entered the mansion many years ago. According to his story, he and several friends decided to explore the property late one evening. At first, the experience seemed uneventful. The rooms were empty, the halls were silent, and the building appeared exactly as abandoned as expected. But as they prepared to leave, something changed. The witness later described hearing footsteps following the group from a distance. Whenever they stopped to listen, the sound stopped as well. Whatever was making the noise never revealed itself. The experience disturbed him so deeply that he refused to return to the property ever again. During one investigation, explorers discovered a section of the building that appeared untouched for decades. Dust covered every surface, and layers of debris suggested that nobody had entered the area in years. Yet there were signs that raised concern. Furniture seemed strangely arranged, and several doors stood partially open, despite the absence of any recent visitors. Investigators carefully documented the location, searching for clues that might explain what they were seeing. Instead, they left with even more uncertainty. The forgotten wing became one of the most discussed areas of the mansion, fueling speculation about what might have happened there in the past. The forest surrounding the mansion has become almost as famous as the building itself. Numerous visitors have reported unusual experiences while walking among the trees after midnight. Some describe hearing distant voices carried by the wind. Others claim to have seen movement between the shadows, only for it to disappear when approached. Environmental factors can easily create strange impressions in darkness, especially in unfamiliar locations. Yet the consistency of these reports continues to attract attention. Whether these experiences have a natural explanation or represent something more mysterious remains one of the many unanswered questions surrounding the area. Among the countless theories proposed over the years, one remains particularly popular. According to this idea, the mansion, the abandoned hospital, and the disappearance may all be connected through a series of forgotten historical events. Supporters of this theory argue that missing records and conflicting witness accounts are evidence of a much larger story,